auto-destruct.
Captain. Abort. Auto-destruct sequence.
Riker William T., do you concur?
Yes, absolutely. I do indeed concur wholeheartedly.
Auto-destruct. Cancel.
Simple yes would have sufficed, number one.
I didn't want there to be any chance of misunderstanding.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Fully Functional, a TNG podcast. I'm Maggie, joined by Jeff and Dory. Jeff and I are huge Star Trek nerds. Dory is a Star Trek novice, and we are going on a journey through Star Trek: The Next Generation. Today we're talking about the second episode of Season 2, called Where Silence Has Lease. Original air date, November 28th, 1988. And we'll start, as always, with a recap from Dory.
Okay, so we start off, Worf and Riker's beard are doing some kind of...
The most important new character.
Yes, of course. We didn't get to touch on it that much last episode because of the last
Reasons.
episode.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot was overshadowed by the main plot of that episode.
Yeah, but the beard should not be neglected.
Mm-hmm.
So Riker and his beard are running around with Worf around like a jungle situation. And then Worf gets like a glove. Made me think of like Thanos and the thing in the Avengers movies.
The Infinity Gauntlet.
Yes. And then like this weird lizard man just starts like fighting Worf. And I was like, what the fuck? And then like Riker pulls a Riker move and like flies down off like a pipe, does some fancy pipe action.
Yeah.
And then starts fighting this like no, I don't remember if anyways, there's this like gross skull guy. So they're all fighting. And then we learn it's the holodeck, which is like pretty expansive holodeck universe. Because like when they close the room, it's just like the room. And they seem to be traveling a lot more. I think at some point I'm going to really have to think about the logistics of the holodeck because I don't know if some of it makes sense to me. But anyways.
Yeah, it doesn't. I think they try to justify it by saying like basically the floor kind of moves to make you think you're walking in a certain direction, and then like it uses certain projections to force your perspective and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
But I always wondered if two characters were like really far apart from each other, there's only so much the computer can do that.
Yeah, eventually they're going to clip through the wall.
Yeah.
Oh, special appearance in that holodeck program, our first appearance on the show of Skeletor.
Oh yeah, the weird skull alien thing. The goopy skull alien guy.
Yeah, that was a guest appearance by Skeletor, obviously.
Did not like him.
Yeah.
When he jumped out, I out loud went, "Oh no." I don't like it. Then so that they're back flying. They find this like big black blob.
Oh yeah, by the way, that cold open has nothing to do with anything in the episode.
Yeah. Oh, I just want to say at the beginning of the episode, when Picard didn't speak for the longest time, and I was like, oh, was I weirdly right? Were people just like, are they just not going to talk this episode? But then Troy's like, you're worried, and I was like, oh god damn it, I'm wrong already. The first line.
Well, you could have been right, like later on.
Oh no, I was wrong on 1,000 levels. It had nothing to do with silence at all. So much for my Little Mermaid TNG crossover. Okay, so there's the black blob, and Wes makes some kind of observation of like, oh, you can't see through it or something, and then Picard pats him on the shoulder, and I was like, there we go, progress.
Yeah. So because the black blob is supposedly a hole in space, there's no matter.
It's a void.
Yeah, it's a void. There's no matter or energy or anything, and Wes says like, well, if it's just empty, shouldn't we be able to see through it, like see through the other side? Which is a pretty apt observation.
Yep.
I think.
So they decide to send a probe into the blob. The probe disappears. this was honestly the freaking weirdest scene initially, like when it started. Worf is like, we should go on yellow alert, and Picard's like, why? And Worf just stares at him. And it just took so long for Worf to like explain the Klingon legend thing, but just up until that point, it was just such an awkward. There was just so much staring and awkwardness. Yeah, so they go closer to the freaking thing again, the blob, and then like in 1 second the blob just like eats the ship. So they're just like in the blob, just blobbing around, if you will.
They're where I want to be, in the void.
And yeah, so they're just sort of like stuck. They keep trying to like figure shit out, but it's not working. And then they're like, oh, they drop like a stationary beacon, but that doesn't do anything because they're flying around themselves. And then they're like, oh, it's a Romulan ship. And then they fucking blow up the Romulan ship.
Yeah.
And everybody cheers. And I was like, did you just cheer for like full out killing people?
Yes, he
like,
did.
To me, that just sounds. I mean, I know it's not real technically or whatever,
But
because
they
whole
were also
episode...
attacking them. They didn't just blow it up.
I know, it just felt really weird to be cheering of like blowing up a ship. So yeah, that was kind of useless. And then the USS Yamato appears. And they're like, let's check that out. So Worf and Riker beam in separately for whatever reason.
Oh, that wasn't on purpose.
Oh yeah, no, that's what I said, for some reason.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, no, I obviously not. Not on purpose. Also, if you take a drink every time somebody says bridge in this episode, like, rip to you. Like,
Yeah.
my condolences. You're gonna die of alcohol poisoning because they say bridge so many times. It's stupid.
One Riker, one bridge.
Yes, I love that. I love that so much. Yeah, so they finally find a bridge, and they open doors, and yeah, it's just like a mind fuck, and Worf cannot take the fact that there's like, you open doors to a different bridge, but that's still them in the bridge. Yeah, Worf is just
Yeah, he can't deal.
in a stressful episode. So they're having some trouble like bringing them back, but in the meantime, this face appears,
Yeah.
and I
Nagilum.
hated
Yep.
I hated that face. It honestly, when it first appeared, I stood up. It scared me for a second.
Wow.
I did not like that.
You know what's great about that? His first line is, "Why are you so alarmed when I've gone through the trouble to look just like you?"
Yeah, that's yeah, I hated that.
You've gone through the trouble, sir, but you
Yeah.
failed.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
talk about Uncanny Valley. It's very
Oh
disturbing.
my god. Guess what? Polar Express, you're off the hook now. Like, that was honestly terrifying. Then, oh yeah, so then to like show his power, Nagilum like kills Haskell, the guy who was sitting at the desk, because Wesley like disappears through part
Yeah.
of it. Same with Troy. They just fully like they were there and then they're just not there. And Dr. P and Haskell, this guy is just there.
He's a
And
red
he
shirt.
gets some lines. Oh yeah. And then he just dies, and I felt so bad for him because what a terrible, like, he looked so scared.
I know.
Like, that took an awful way to die.
They don't fully say what the cause of death is, but I'm gonna assume he died of like fear, because Nagilum's whole deal is like he wants to kill the crew in every way possible.
Yeah, he just wants to see how people die. But also, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but they did like a shot of Haskell on the floor and his nose was moving.
Yeah.
His nostrils. I was like, ugh.
Yeah, you could see him breathing.
Yes, I did notice that. Probably not an issue in HD, or sorry, in standard def, but in
Yeah.
HD, oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I also wanted to mention that like one of the kind of disadvantages of like all these films being remastered and stuff is you can see how sweaty everyone is.
Yes.
Oh. I don't think I noticed that, but I will keep my eyes peeled in the future. So then Picard's like, two people can play at this game of death chicken. So him and Riker set off the auto-destruct or whatever, but 20 minutes, because 20 minutes is an appropriate amount of time for you to deal with the fact you're about to fucking die, honestly.
No, that's how much time is left in the episode.
Yeah, they've upgraded the self-destruct. You can now pick how long it's going to take.
Yeah.
Yeah, not 4 minutes anymore.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, I wouldn't want time to think about it. Just just do it. Because if I have time to think about it, then I'm just gonna spiral. I'm gonna Lieutenant Dan Bell spiral. Yeah, and eventually, so then, like, I say this in quotes, Data and Troy visit Picard to ask about death, and then Picard very easily is like, you guys aren't the real Data and Troy, and he's like, nice try, Nagilum, as he waves his fist. He doesn't, but I'm just doing it for effect.
The old man yells at Cloud Being.
Yes, yes.
Good reference.
Thank you.
And then at literally the last second possible, Picard, because he's like unsure if like stuff is happening still, if it's like an illusion or real, and he's like, okay, cancel the auto destruct, and Riker's like, yeah, absolutely, 100%, let's do it, yes, cancel, yes. And Picard's like, you could have just said yes, and he's like, well, I wanted to be like super clear, and it's like, yes is pretty clear. But I mean, you know what, you gotta do you, Riker. So then they end the episode with the weirdest like parent-teacher evaluation where they're just like, obviously Nagilum's like evaluation of Picard was really weird to me. I don't think I agree with like basically everything he said, because the Picard we've seen so far this is just bullshit.
And especially with his like reactions to like what Nagilum's been doing to them doesn't warrant his evaluation, I think.
Yeah, it seems like they were trying to do something profound, but failed, because Picard is not like any of the ways they described him at the end of this episode. So it doesn't make sense. Yeah, I totally get what you mean by like an anticlimactic, like a bummer of an ending. Cause
it had a dumb resolution.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
Very
like
accurate.
Nagilum just randomly lets them go.
Yeah, he's like, well, I learned enough. I'm like, what?
Picard's just gonna be like, well, I'm gonna blow up the ship, and then Nagilum's like, okay, I guess I'll let you live or whatever.
Yeah, even though I wanted to see how people die.
Yeah, especially since like in later on episodes they'd actually have like some clever solution, like some way they like outsmart the threat or whatever. And now,
Yay.
And it's just such like a. Yeah, it's just, it's disappointing, because I actually really enjoyed the atmosphere of this episode up until Nagilum shows up.
I am mostly indifferent to this episode. Yeah, it's not... I mean, there was also, like, the Dr. P insulting Data.
Yep. She calls Data it.
Yeah, he's zooming in, and he's not zooming in the way she wants him to. And she's like, it does know how to do these things, doesn't it? And I was like, excuse me?
Yeah.
Say that again. Say it again.
Yeah. And then she's like, I'm not used to working with things that aren't alive.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, your service record says you're alive, so I guess I have to consider you alive or whatever.
Yeah. She's like, your service record says that you're alive, and I must accept that. And she's like, oh, forgive me. I'm like, no, bitch, fuck you.
Yeah.
Stop treating him like that. I also wrote in my notes, I miss Geordi. I mean, he did get to show up a little bit later on.
Yeah.
But I miss him being on the bridge. I miss that fun energy. It's Geordi.
Even though he's not on the bridge, we do get to see him a lot in the series. So
Yes, that's
good.
true.
Yeah. He is still part of our main gang.
Good. Because I like Geordi a lot. He just has like a brightness.
Mm-hmm.
Just like he's just such like a light, fun, like happy, like hopeful character.
Yeah, you're right. He doesn't, at least at this point, he doesn't seem like really that bogged down by any of the dumb future stuff. He's just living his best life.
Or jaded or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I like that.
Yeah, he's kind of one of the most, like, down-to-earth, grounded characters.
So this is, I don't know if you guys noticed this, and I thought there'd be a payoff, but at one point, Riker is, like, standing between, I think, Wesley and Data, and it looks like Picard is staring right at his ass.
Yes!
But then it's like he's looking at his fingers, and I was like, is he doing something like Morse code with his fingers? Because they, like, they shoot it, like, right on there, and then it's nothing. It truly is nothing. So, like, what was the point of any of that?
I'm assuming it was just, like, supposed to be, like, nervous tapping or some shit. But yeah, the way they shot it before that, it's like... it totally looks like Picard's, like,
staring at his ass.
Yeah, intently staring at his ass. And if you notice, like, when the quote-unquote Romulan ship is attacking and they're doing the thing where everyone's shaking around... Picard still has his legs crossed.
Yes, I noticed that too. Everybody's flying around and he's just like leaning a little bit with his legs crossed. I do find it really funny though. I think I've said this before of like when they're supposed to be crashing or being flung around, that it's always like off.
Yeah.
it never looks like they're actually being flung around.
Mm-hmm. I think, so Will Wheaton, I don't know if he still does it, but for a while he had this show called Tabletop, where he just played board games with, like, celebrities and stuff. It was really fun, actually. And on one episode, he had... I mean, on many episodes, he had Star Trek actors on. Oh, yeah, sorry. The celebrities he'd play with weren't, like, celebrities. They were, like, kind of nerd celebrities. Or, like, internet celebrities. So he had an actress on who played one of the main cast members on Voyager. And they were discussing that, like, one of the things that unites all the actors from all the different series is having to act crashing, which was like bouncing around in your seat. So they get the actors to, like, pretend to bounce in their seats and then shake the camera also. So that's why it always looks so fucking weird. Because it's not like the set's on a gimbal or anything. They just have to pretend.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's great.
I always love it when, like, something explodes on the bridge and so they just go, like, flying. Because fuses haven't been invented, I guess.
Accurate.
You just don't use them anymore. Jeff, I know you're not a huge fan of this episode.
No. Watching it again, it just really solidified it for me, I think.
Yeah.
There's very little background information on the episode, too. Just in general, it seems like it was kind of a mess for everyone to deal with. The fact that the majority of the episode takes place on the bridge definitely stands out. And what doesn't take place on the bridge takes place on another bridge that is the exact same set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, they have the Yamato, which is the Enterprise's sister ship, which means they don't have to build a new set.
Yeah, that's it. This, I mean, it's not quite a bottle episode because you have that entire scene at the beginning, which is the first, like, 4.5 minutes of it. But other than that, yeah.
I honestly don't understand the point of the cold open.
Oh, it's filler.
Yeah, it's very clearly filler. Like, I think they were trying to pass it off as some, like, insight into Worf, but it really isn't.
I mean, it's an insight into Worf if you consider Black Man Animal to not be racist.
Yeah.
Because that's definitely the thought that I got from it. I'm just like, a little awkward that you're doing this to Worf, because we don't really see other Klingons act quite like this.
Yeah, they're still kind of like Klingons are raw animals kind of deal, and it's very uncomfortable.
I mean, that's very new, because they didn't do that in TOS.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, it's awkward at best. However, that action scene was pretty intense. I did find myself enjoying that. I think what my problem with the episode is it keeps introducing new mysteries to you, which, okay, fine. But I think after more than half of the episode has been introducing new mysteries, I'm just like, okay, can you actually introduce a new development?
Yeah,
because we don't have that yet.
The Nagilum stuff doesn't even start till like 2/3 into the episode.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's really far in.
Yeah.
And they're doing the entire, like, oh, pick up a piece of the puzzle, pick up another piece of the puzzle. But none of the pieces add up to anything.
Yeah.
So it's not really building on it as much as it's just introducing another thing that hasn't been answered yet.
Yeah, and they kind of hand wave it with like, oh, it's like we're being experimented on. People are trying to see our responses to, like, These mind fucks.
I did find it really funny when Nagilum, like, took control of Pulaski for a second, and she did that dumb dance on the bridge.
Oh, yeah.
I love that he was like, oh, Data, your construction differs. Also Pulaski, but there's, like, Worf is right there.
Nope, Worf's construction is the
Troy's
same.
right there.
And Troy, yeah.
Troy's there, too.
I mean, Worf canonically has 2 dicks, so, like, that's a pretty big difference.
Sorry, what?
Klingons have 2 penises.
Do they actually, or was that just, like, a meme?
It's canon.
What?
Either that or they have a split in their penis and pee from 2 holes, but I'm pretty sure the implication
No.
is that they have 2 penises.
That's from Discovery.
Yeah. And it's a split-second
God.
instance of a Klingon, like, peeing in a corner, basically, in an alley.
What?
And there are 2 streams.
Yeah.
This might be the most upsetting fact I've learned on the show so far.
There is a comment that comes up later on in Star Trek about how Klingons have a lot of redundant organs.
Yeah.
Like they'll have, like 2 stomachs, 2 hearts, and that sort of thing. And it's so that one can shut down and they'll still be okay. But yeah, maybe that applies to their penis too.
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe.
it does make more sense now when like Worf was like thought it would be a bad idea to fuck like a human.
Yes.
So this makes a little bit more sense, but it's also that's wild.
It wouldn't be that bad of an idea. There's 2 holes there.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh god.
So are they... Okay, I have to ask this question. Are they side by side or one on top of each other?
I think it's one on top of the other, which makes it a lot easier to work with.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, side by side would not be fun.
2 penises, 1 male.
Do they have 2 sets of testicles or 1?
Well, that we don't know yet.
Or do they have like 4 altogether?
In the same sack.
Yeah.
It's possible.
These are the real questions, people. This is what...
Yeah, forget about the holodeck technical bits. We're talking about dicks.
Yeah.
Did you guys notice how much Picard was pacing on the bridge in this episode?
Yeah, there was so much standing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is like a thing they always do, but just because this episode is on the bridge so much, it's like really noticeable, is that like every time they talk, they have to stand up for some reason on the bridge.
Apparently the director was fighting to try to find ways to make it more interesting to shoot on that set for longer because like the background is not exciting. It's tan.
I guess different camera angles didn't enter his brain.
Well, no, they did. It's just there's only so much you can do to make it look interesting when you're shooting in the same set for a full, like, 25 minutes out of a 45-minute episode.
But it's like they could have, like, put, like, camera moves in there that they didn't really... Doesn't seem like they attempted to do that.
I don't think they had access to one. To like,
a dolly or a track or whatever. Why wouldn't they?
Well, because in the end they're limited by budget as well.
Yeah, but I mean, wouldn't the studio just have some dolly track around?
I have no idea, to be honest. That's a good question.
Because these are like standing sets. They don't go anywhere. I guess they are limited by budget, but like, yeah, I guess they blew all their budget for dolly track on the opening sequence.
And the previous episode.
Yeah, yeah. Like, it's very disappointing for me because, like I said, for the first like 2/3 of this episode, I really enjoy the atmosphere of it. I kind of enjoy the mystery. I love the music. I just kind of love like these different weird things happening and all that kind of stuff. But then it's just like very inconsequential.
Yes, very much so.
It leads up to nothing.
At least we have properly trimmed Riker beard now. So like this
Yes.
is more akin to what you'll see going forward with him.
I'll be honest, it looks exactly the same to me.
Well, you didn't look at it closely enough.
To be fair, I didn't because I was fuming last episode.
They didn't have any close-ups of the beard the last episode, I don't think, and they did some extreme close-ups of him this episode, so it would explain why they trimmed it.
Yeah, the beard definitely does still continue to fill out.
Yeah,
because that's one of the reasons people marvel at Riker's beard, is because it's a very full, thick beard.
Lumberjack style.
Yeah, it's what you strive for if you want to grow a beard, is Riker's beard.
I get that. One day, if I ever grow a beard, I'll aim for Riker's. Beard is my inspiration.
It's worshipped by many men.
I will give them credit for one thing. So what Hurley really liked about this script was it's very Star Trek. There's no villain, and what he flat out
McGeelan's
stated.
kind of a villain.
He's an antagonist,
Yeah.
but like he's not a villain that like there's no lasting anything afterwards. It's not about fighting someone. Is the point of the episode. And that's something that, I mean, Hurley, like I said before, Star Trek was primarily a writer on cop shows.
Yeah.
So he was very used to that kind of conflict. And what he liked about this is that isn't what the conflict is. You're not trying to fight whatever it is. You're only trying to escape a scientific conundrum.
Yeah, you're trying to outthink it. Even though the solution wasn't actually clever, it is more along the lines of what they kind of do later.
Yeah. So in the end, like, these people are not, like, they are military, but they're not soldiers. They're scientists, and they're all very well educated in science. On top of that, so like, this fits what Hurley thinks Star Trek should be, and that's good. That's one of the reasons that he greenlit it and let it go on. I don't think it was very successful in the end, but we're going to see a bunch of that in this season just because of the writer strike problems.
Yeah. Although, like, I was looking at the episode names, and there was one particular episode that I just fucking hate that's coming up.
I know the one you mean.
Yep.
Yep. Let's not give any clues to even when it is.
No, I wasn't.
Oh, good.
Yeah, but I was looking at the episode names and, like, thinking about the episodes, and there's a bunch of, like, good stuff that I like coming up in this season.
Yes. Yeah, there's stronger good episodes in this season. However, there are just as many bad episodes this season as the previous one.
Yeah.
Which sucks because there's less episodes in the season, so you'd think there would be less bad episodes, but here we are, season 2.
That's why I always maintain that season 2 is kind of where you start to see the potential.
Yeah, but only start.
Yeah. Season 3 is kind of when it starts getting to its stride.
Not in these 2 episodes, obviously.
How many episodes are in this season then?
22.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
so that's not bad.
Yeah, it's only slightly shorter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like 4 episodes shorter.
But that is a month less of working on the show for everybody who was working on it. So that's quite a bit of time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's true. Oh, I wanted to talk about the Riker lean, because this has been bothering me since the beginning, because I could have sworn that I heard something about Jonathan Frakes having back problems. And so I looked it up after I watched this episode, and yeah, he does. He has back problems.
Oh,
all
right.
He used to have a job moving furniture, and he hurt his back. So that's why he's always leaning over and stuff and putting his leg up on shit.
Huh.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a creative choice.
I'm sure it is too. He works it in really nicely.
Yeah, can it be both?
It's never been a complaint. I've always enjoyed his choices, but I guess it's not
for
choices
sure.
anymore.
But it was just bothering me because I could have sworn I heard there was a reason for it that was just beyond he makes weird acting choices.
Honestly, it's one of my favorite things about Riker. Is just like he never stands up.
Yeah. And did you notice that he has his he's beside Data and he has his leg way propped up. His crotch is almost on Data's back.
Oh wow.
Well, the back of the seat. But you know how he puts his leg up on that thing beside the ops station?
Yeah.
Yeah. It just always it's
Riker.
wow. Just if I was sitting there and someone put their leg up like that, so close to me like that, I'd just be like, can you not, maybe?
Yo, dude, could you cut that out, bro?
Yeah, maybe back up a bit, not have your junk so close to me.
Oh, did you guys notice? So I can't remember what exactly was happening in the scene. I think it was after Haskell dies, and then Dr. P goes, "Why did I get the feeling that this was not the time to join this ship?" And then Picard stares at her for like a good couple seconds. He just glares her down. He does not like, I guess, to be fair, he's probably like bummed about her replacing Beverly.
Yeah. He's kind of bummed his what would you call Beverly? His crush? His crusher. I'm sorry, that was really bad.
Colleague with feelings?
Yeah.
I don't know. The person he pines for?
Yeah, his like love interest, kind of.
In quotes. Love interest. Oh, you know, this just reminded me that like near the end of of season 1, there's a whole thing where she's kind of like, with the episode with Janice, where Crusher's like she's talking to, I think it's Troy, about like, oh, she has feelings for the captain, or she doesn't say it in so many words, but there's basically that conversation.
Yeah.
And if I didn't know that she was coming back, I would be like, cool, so like I did all that rooting for them, and then she's like, yeah, I definitely have feelings, and now nope, she's gone.
Yeah. But
I know she's coming back, so there will be I almost said TBD, but that doesn't make sense. I don't know what the initials are that I'm looking for, but
I mean, TBD is to be determined.
Yeah. All right, so it's a TBD. Their status.
That B is TB.
Yeah.
All right, so should we get into favorite moments of the episode?
Sure. I mean, I don't have a lot. I'll be honest. This was not.
Yeah, this isn't a very dense episode. It's arguably a filler episode.
Yeah. I do love, you said earlier, that Worf go like, one Riker, one bridge. I also like when fake Data goes to speak to Picard and he goes, I have a question, sir. And then Picard goes, yes, Data, what is it? And then Data goes, what is death? And Picard goes, oh, is that all? Yeah, Picard's got some sass this episode, because at the beginning, when they were talking about, Riker's like, remember when people thought the Earth was flat? And I was like, oh, like now?
Yeah.
Like in 2021?
Yeah. And the thing is like, very few people like actually believed the Earth was flat. Like, a guy measured the circumference of Earth in like ancient Egypt, you know?
Oh, yeah. It was in the first episode of Cosmos.
Yeah.
So anybody who is interested from that episode where Jeff and Maggie told me to watch Cosmos by Carl Sagan, I watched the first episode and it ruined my night because there's so much space. It's incredible. I'm going to watch more episodes. I have it bookmarked. But, oh my God, yeah, the guy who they measured from like Alexandria to somewhere else, somewhere like south in Egypt, like a bit more south.
Mm-hmm.
But, oh yeah, I know this story. I know this story.
Yeah.
Carl Sagan's ruining my life.
Yeah. Because that series is a mind fuck.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, the first episode, he's like talking about space and the galaxies, and I'm like, oh my God. And then he's like, all right, now let's go to Earth. And I'm like, Carl, what the fuck? We're not done with space yet. Why'd you bring me back to Earth? You got me all pumped up and interested in space, so stick with space. And he's like, no, let me tell you about the circumference and the not imaginary because it was real, but like he goes, I won't get into the Library of Alexandria, but oh my God, I'm obsessed with this series, but it's ruining my life.
Yeah.
I was like, Carl, do you think I'm going to sleep tonight after watching this? Thanks, Carl Sagan.
Yeah. Yeah, what I was getting at was that people saying the Earth was flat, like I'm sure a segment of people did believe that, but like where the main thrust of that comes from, it actually came from propaganda against Catholics, where they're like, look how stupid Catholics are, they believe the Earth is flat. So that's where that comes from. It wasn't even like a major belief. Like they knew the Earth was round, but like people always talk about like Columbus or whatever was like, oh, he theorized the Earth was round, and it's like, no, he didn't. They super knew that it was round already.
Yeah, they just didn't know that there was another continent.
Yeah.
Yeah, he also has a really bad sense of direction.
Yes. And is a genocidal rapist.
Yep. You heard it here first, folks. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they didn't hear it here first.
I know. I'm kidding. So he was like, thought the Earth was flat, and then Picard says, it's even said that crews threatened to hang their captain from the yardarm if he refused to turn back, because they thought they were gonna like sail off the edge of the Earth. And then Riker goes, I'm sure no one has that in mind, sir. I'm sure no one here has that in mind, sir. And the Picard goes, how comforting, number one. Picard's got some sass this episode.
I can't tell you how much it like delights me whenever your mind gets blown by science stuff.
Because like I like it, but my science education was shitty as hell. The most I remember from like elementary school science is the first 20 things on the periodic table.
Yeah.
That's what I remember. And
Well, at least you remember those.
Yeah. And then high school science is, I'll be honest, I talked through science in high school. So I don't really remember much.
The thing is, though, is a lot of this I didn't learn in school. This was kind of like independently. I just, out of curiosity, found out a lot of these things because I just sought out, like, kind of science content and stuff. And, like, watched a lot of science fiction and that kind of thing. Led to me, like, seeking out these things.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know how much... I'm, like, thinking, what topics do I search out? I don't know. I think I like old stuff. That doesn't sound right. Like I like history stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't think I think that much about science, because when like the history stuff, it's like, we know from science it's this thing, but it's like we're not going to sit for like 30 years explaining the science behind it. So I guess as an adult, I have to inquire more on the science end by myself. Which I am happy to do so, because I'm really excited to continue Cosmos.
Yeah.
And learn more stuff.
Yeah. And I love that. I think it's even in the first episode where he talks about evolution. And I love Carl Sagan because he's like, evolution happened, dummies. Like, he doesn't say it like that. He's actually very, like, he doesn't talk down. In my opinion. Like, it doesn't come across that way to me. But I just love that he's firm on that.
Yeah. Oh, you know what broke me, in which I started texting a lot of people about this?
Yeah.
Is the end of that first episode. He's like, okay, say there's a calendar. And like the first second of January 1st is like the Big Bang. And then like the last 2 hours in December 31st is like humans doing shit.
Yeah. It's like if you...
And I was like, what? And it's 15 billion or million, I don't remember. It's 15 billion or million years in between, and I was like, excuse me, what have we been doing? I mean, obviously we know what we've been doing with that time, but like it's too much of a time span to think about it.
Yes.
Like that's too much time. I can barely comprehend a couple hundred years of like all this shit that's changed. But like 15, let's say million, because I don't remember if it's million or billion. But I was like, this is too big.
Oh, the history of the cosmos would be in billions of years.
Okay, yes. So billion, so 15 billion. That's so much of a scope that my brain can't handle. I mean, I'm so psyched to learn about more stuff, but it's just, I'm gonna have to like find a way to like dig more space into my brain to get rid of some of the useless shit that I know. And then, like, make space for Carl Sagan.
That's the thing, though, is the humans are really bad at comprehending large numbers like that.
I mean, to be fair, I'm really bad with numbers in general. I suck at math, but I also am really bad with measurements. So, like, you tell me, like, 3 meters. I'm like, you truly lost me already.
Yeah.
I, like, have to guess. I can only do centimeters because it's the length, my finger.
Yeah.
And that's the extent of my anyways. But yeah, the time is just it's so much, it's too much.
Yeah, cuz it's like fucking our lives are like the last millisecond of December 31st.
Yep.
Like if you were to condense the entire history of the universe into 1 year, that's how long our existence would be, is like the final like few minutes of the year.
It's baffling.
Yeah.
It's incredible. But then also, like, when I start thinking about space again and how much there is out there, that I'm gonna have a panic attack.
Yeah.
It just, like, there's so much that, like, we know, but what do we not know? I mean, we only know so much about the oceans. There's so much more of the oceans we haven't really even, like, looked at yet. So, like, what the fuck's down there? Is this going to be like, it's like the Meg is down there? It really could. We don't know it isn't. I just watched that movie. It's stressed me out. Also, Jason Statham does not age, and he plays the same character in every single movie, and I'm okay with that. Anyways, yeah, the Meg could exist, and we just don't know, because we don't know what else is in the ocean.
Yeah.
I hope this doesn't stress anybody else out, because it's stressing me out just thinking about it.
You know what's crazy is that we know more about space and the cosmos than we do about our own oceans.
Oh, God. Oh, God. I just, like, what else is down there?
Yeah.
I'm convinced there's got to be, like dinosaur style, or, like, from the dinosaur era. Something's got to be... Oh, God, I can never go in it. This is why... No, it's not why I'm scared of cruises. That's a whole other thing. But I'm going to spiral. I'm like... My hands are on my face right now.
Oh, yeah. Space,
God.
it's so infinite. And you know what? So, on that note, you know what fucks me up? Is, I believe it's called... Is it the Fermi Paradox?
Oh, God, I'm already scared.
Where basically, okay, so the thing goes is that, like, there's just too much opportunity for there not to be intelligent life out there in the universe. Like, it's just, there's like a bajillion, like, suns in just our own galaxy, and there's like a bajillion galaxies.
There are? Oh my God.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Oh yeah, because this is just one sun in our solar system. There's other solar systems in the galaxy. Oh my God, I'm gonna throw up.
Yeah.
Sorry, continue.
So yeah, so there's just too many, like, there's just too much out there. There's too many suns, too many planets, too many galaxies for there not to be other intelligent life. But the sort of paradox goes is that we'd probably be way too far away from each other to ever be able to talk to each other.
Can you imagine the movie someone could make where it's like just on the cusp of seeing each other? I call copyright. If it listens to this, too late. It's Monday, February the 1st when we're recording this. I call copyright on this idea. Or maybe we shouldn't include this and then I can just do it myself.
That's the thing that fucks me up, is just like, despite all our best efforts, despite everything we learn, there's just too much distance for us to ever actually be able to make contact with each other.
Oh my God. Welcome to Breakdown Corner.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's really trippy.
Yeah, that's the thing that fucks me up. Because,
Oh my God.
because that's the whole point, is just seeking out others, you know, to make a connection. And the fact that, like, that's just, there's, like, theoretically, there's literally nothing we can do to do it.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Although, that's not set in stone. That's just one kind of theory of like how intelligent life throughout the universe would be.
I've
One
never
of
thought
many.
about that.
Yeah.
Oh God. Oh God.
This is why I find this stuff interesting, because it really fucks with your brain.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm gonna sleep tonight.
Sorry.
Hey, it's okay. This happened last time I watched Cosmos. I was up to like 4 a.m. So I was like, I can't stop thinking about What else? Well, I also was thinking about what if
I can't
somebody
stop
else
thinking about space.
But I also was like, what if somebody else named the planets before us? What if that was a thing already and we're just later and they're like, oh God, what if they already had names?
So this is like my crazy, like I don't believe this is like what actually happened, but I feel like this is this would be interesting if it happened. Is, you know how Venus has like an extremely thick atmosphere.
Yeah, it does.
And it's like
Sorry.
It's it's full of a lot of toxic gases and all that kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I always thought, like, wow, what if at one point humans lived on Venus, but we fucked up the planet so much that we moved on to the next one, Earth. And then that's kind of what we're doing with wanting to be established on Mars. Is if we fuck up Earth, we'll just move to Mars.
Oh no.
Well, that would blow.
Yeah.
Oh God. Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry. I don't want this to sound malicious, but I love it when your brain breaks.
It's not, I promise. A lot of people laugh at me for this. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't deal with this. That's the thing, is I'm interested in some stuff that I just like can't wrap my head around.
Yeah.
And so I just am like really blown away when I learn something new about stuff, because
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, my little brain couldn't handle that, and now I know this is something that's a thing, and I'm like, whoa.
So shit gets crazy when you go really big, but shit gets crazy when you go super small too. So like, have you ever heard of like quantum or whatever?
I mean, I know Quantum Leap,
Yeah.
but I've never seen the show. I just know of it because I know who Scott Bakula is.
So
Because of a movie from the 90s called Cats Don't Dance.
which is funny, Scott Bakula actually stars in a Star Trek series called Enterprise.
Yes, Enterprise.
Which is a prequel series.
Oh, I didn't know it was a prequel. Okay.
Yeah, it's like when humans, just after humans discover warp, that's when the series is set.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
When they're just first starting to like really explore space on a Star Trek scale.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, beyond the
Okay,
solar
so
system.
then what's quantum?
So, Jeff, I might need your help here because I don't fully remember what quantum particles are.
Oh, okay.
Is this related to Ant-Man? How, like, they get smaller and really small and small and small in the first movie?
No. I'm gonna say no. So, you have, like, everything that has, like, every physical thing is made up of molecules.
Yes.
Which are made up of... Molecules are a group of atoms.
Mm-hmm.
So every atom is like... So yeah, so the periodic table, those are like the basic building blocks. Those are like the sort of essential elements. And everything that we know of is made up of like a combination of those atoms that are arranged into molecules. And then you can actually divide atoms up into smaller pieces, which are called subatomic particles, because they're
Okay.
atomic.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah.
I've heard
They're
of that
also
word.
called quantum particles.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Are those quantum particles?
Yes, they are.
I thought quantum particles made up the subatomic particles.
No, quantum particles are like electrons, protons, that sort of thing.
Yeah. So each atom is made up of... There's the nucleus and then the electrons spinning around them. So the nucleus is made up of protons and...
Electron.
The nucleus is protons and neutrons, and then spinning around that is electrons.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so those
I
subatomic...
know those words from high school science.
There are
Yes.
also bosons.
Yeah. Because that's what That's what CERN was looking for, was the Higgs boson.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is
God.
the thing that gives matter mass.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
And they found it.
Yeah. Which is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, so I'm mistaken then. I thought quantum particles were the things that made up the subatomic particles.
Subatomic is the sci-fi word for quantum particles.
Well,
Believe it or not.
Oh, well, I just assumed subatomic was just like they're smaller than atoms.
I mean, it is, but it's the sci-fi word for it.
Oh, okay. I did not know that.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Because isn't there like, don't quantum particles like come in and out of existence basically all the time?
No.
What is
Because
that then?
that I don't know, but those are not quantum particles. But quantum particles
Oh,
are...
maybe it's quarks.
That could be, yeah.
Because I know
Quantum particles are particles that spin. So, like electrons and neutrons and protons, etc.
Okay.
Okay, so then what is it that they do then? Like,
They
what's
spin
the...
around the nucleus of an atom.
No. Okay, but like, what is it that's like cool about them?
Besides the fact that they're smaller than atoms.
I mean, that doesn't mean anything to me technically, because it's not like I'm like, oh, there's an atom.
That's right. You're incapable of seeing them.
Yeah. So something being smaller doesn't
Yeah.
make a difference.
But the thing is,
to
like,
me,
when
unless it does something cool. Does it do tricks?
because I know there's some kind of particle that they've observed kind of like, it kind of blinks in and out of existence. Like, that's just like all the time. And I think that might be quarks, now that I'm thinking about it. Where
look it up.
when they observe it, they observe that it can kind of go in and out wherever it goes from this plane to the next. And
that's cool.
Yeah, there's some weird shit that happens when you go really small. There's a certain particle that, like, they tried to do experiments on it, but they could only prove that it exists when they weren't looking.
That's really funny.
Like, the experiment wouldn't work while they were observing it.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Also, you are correct. Quarks are what pop in and out of existence.
Yes. Okay. That's quarks. And I forget what quarks are. Besides that they do that.
Oh, I don't know what else they do.
Yeah. Because you get into all this, like, string theory shit and, like, all that stuff that I don't even, like, fully
I know the term, but I don't really know string theory.
Oh, so here's a cool thing.
In general.
Have you ever heard of the term splitting the atom?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's basically how nuclear bombs work. Is
gross.
The energy it takes to split those atoms apart is so great that it causes a nuclear explosion. Yeah, and that's how fission reactors work as well. I think by breaking down atoms.
Yep, that is correct.
Yeah. So
it's not the fission that it's not the energy that it takes, it's the energy that creates.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that's what I meant. But yeah, the force holding those quantum particles together is so great that, like, it takes a lot of energy to pull them apart. Or, like, they create a lot of energy if they get pulled apart. Yeah, so that's how nuclear reactors work. And that's why it's called fission as opposed to fusion, which is what happens in the middle of the sun, which is where the sun combines hydrogen atoms to make helium.
What?
Yeah.
Why is it that first thing that popped in my head was like, you can blow up balloons on the sun?
Yeah. But yeah, that's basically it forces hydrogen together to make helium.
Yes.
Yeah. Because
what do they do with it? Why do they need it on the sun?
They don't. That's how the energy of the sun is created.
Yeah, that's how the energy is created.
The sun is a natural fusion reaction that has been going on for billions of years.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And that's why the sun will eventually die, is because it'll just run out of hydrogen.
Oh no. Oh wait. No, that's bad.
Yeah.
Well, that won't happen for billions of more years.
Yeah.
So.
still.
And we'll be dead even before then.
Yes.
Because
God willing, no, I'm kidding.
because the sun will expand to a point where it'll burn up the earth, basically.
Oh my god, that's gonna stress me out too.
But that's for like billions of years.
I know, but still. Just the idea of like people being, what if people are alive still then?
Yeah.
And they're here for when it scorches the earth. Oh my god, it's like we have the pandemic, but they have the sun.
Well, I mean, the transition is going to take so long. By the time it reaches that point, the earth has been slowly heating up for like millennia.
Yes, accurate.
So they'll figure their shit out before it becomes a problem.
Oh my god, I might gonna have a heart attack.
Yeah. Sorry to lay all this out to you at the like end of our episode.
I mean, I'm interested, but I'm also traumatized.
Yeah.
No, I'm not traumatized.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna have like a panic attack when we're done.
Yeah. I'm sorry, because I love talking about this shit, and I also love blowing your mind. So it's too tempting not to just say more shit.
The thing is, like, I am interested and I like learning this stuff. I think it's just I'm not prepared for how much stuff there is to learn. So like I think it's because like I learn stuff, I guess, more at like a much smaller scale, or I watch it, or I learn something while watching like a video on YouTube or Netflix, or like I read one of my books. But like my books are very much, most of my books are actually in the exact same like area.
It also has far less consequences than the sun will eventually die.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much about just the idea of the sun dying and oh god. Ugh. This is a lot.
Yeah.
This is a lot.
I guess
I don't drink by myself, but I almost want to get a drink now.
Does anyone have anything else they want to bring up from the episode?
No, I'm good. There isn't a lot more to say about the episode, I don't think.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Okay. So, on that note, we're going to get into predictions. And Dory, I think you'll be very happy.
Okay.
The next episode is called Elementary, My Dear Data.
Oh!
And your hint is that we get some more holodeck shenanigans.
Yes. Okay. This actually sounds exciting. Okay. So, if it's called Elementary, My Dear...
Oh, sorry.
Data.
It's just called Elementary, Dear Data.
Oh, Elementary, Dear Data, whatever. Still. Okay. He's gonna be Sherlock Holmes in the holodeck. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
He's got to solve a thing in the holodeck as Sherlock Holmes. Honest, this is so exciting. I'm so excited. Oh.
Can you guess as to what the plot will be?
Oh, it could be fucking anything. I wouldn't say murder, because it doesn't feel like Data would be so much into like solving a murder. Mm-hmm. But maybe it's like somebody's missing a thing. Oh, but then that's like the big goodbye. They were looking for a MacGuffin the whole time. Mm-hmm. But would they repeat that? Honestly, they probably would. I'm going to be honest. Or maybe a missing persons. Maybe Data needs to find somebody who's been kidnapped in the not literally in the holodeck, but in the Sherlock Holmes. Wait, that means they'll be like 1800s London. Like Victoria era London. The outfits are going to be so good. I'm going to be totally wrong with all this, and I just get excited over nothing.
Who do you think his Watson will be?
Could it be Geordie?
I
would love that.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
I would love that.
Yeah.
I feel like Geordie would be such a good Watson because they're friends and they have a good dynamic. I can't imagine, because also, to be fair, I feel like Geordie would be up for something more fun. I can't picture Riker as Watson. I feel like, or he wouldn't take it seriously.
Maybe it'll be a random side character who gets killed.
Oh, no. No, you know who it's going to be? It's going to be that random hot guy who appears in the episodes randomly. He needs a name at some point. He has no lines, but... I hope his Watson is Geordi, because it could be Worf. That would actually be wild, seeing Worf as Watson. Honestly, that could be really fun.
I mean, I won't tell you when, but Worf definitely has holodeck episodes.
Yeah.
Nice. That's great. Okay, so I hope it's Geordi, because I feel like Geordi would be the most fun to do that with. I can't see Picard being into being Watson, to be honest. Oh my god. It could be freaking Wesley. Wes could totally be Watson. Oh, I hope not, though. No offense to Wes, but I want to see Geordi. I miss Geordi. Okay, so I think... now I'm like bummed because I know it's probably not going to happen. Okay, but there's going to be Sherlock Holmes LARPing in the holodeck. And I like to think they're trying to look for somebody's been kidnapped and they're trying to find the missing person.
Okay. That's your prediction.
Yeah, because murder just doesn't feel right, I think, necessarily with Data and stuff. They did stuff already, like a missing thing. So I'm going to say they're looking for somebody who's been kidnapped. Because that's like a Sherlock Holmes thing. He looked for missing persons. I think I'd know this. I read like the compilation book when I was in high school. I actually, fun fact, we had to present for this like project, and I dressed up as Watson, and I did the whole scene of the Reichenbach Falls.
Nice.
Of Moriarty going over with Sherlock Holmes, and I dressed up fully as Watson. Like I think I had a mustache or something.
Nice.
Yeah, it was. Thankfully, there's no documents of this, so haha. Unless you were in my grade 10 English class at my high school, which doesn't have a name anymore, so good luck finding my high school. Literally, my high school doesn't have a name anymore. I don't know what it is. It's a long story. Anyways, yeah, that's my prediction.
And you think Geordi is going to be Watson?
I hope so.
Okay.
Logically, he's probably not going to be Watson.
Okay.
I think there's more of a chance of Wes being Watson, or some random but some random person being Watson. But I really want it to be Geordi, or even Worf. But it's probably not, because I want it so bad.
Well then, we'll have to see next time. So watch along with us, listen along with us, and we'll see you next time on Fully Functional, a TNG podcast.
Goodbye.